Hi, Ginger Cook here, and I want to talk about our new acrylic painting season for this winter. The paintings that we're going to be releasing on YouTube as well as in our Art Academy. I just want to show you our fabulous winter lineup. We've already released a couple of them on YouTube, but let's just go over, let you guys know what's in store for you, because I think it's fun to have things to look forward to as far as what you want to paint next and the sizes and so forth. Maybe you have to order special size canvas, good to know, maybe some special paint, and we're going to just talk about that. So John, if you'd be so kind as to just let's just quickly review. We're going to take a YouTube lesson, then I'm going to show you one in our Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting weekly release, show you what we've done and what's coming up in the future. Maybe some of you have missed these. This is, I think, probably the best winter lineup we've ever done for the holidays. I think you're going to be really impressed with what we've got. So the first one is you guys, some of you have painted the snow globe already, and this was a YouTube lesson. I think it's absolutely terrific. And I know that it's very simple because we've seen so many of them, and they're all just perfect. I mean, you guys have just done a marvelous job on those, and those of you who haven't tried this one yet, please do. This is a YouTube lesson. Now, we tried to, because we're also it's kind of an interesting thing. We're in the fall holiday season. It's Christmas is coming and the holidays and so forth, but we're also it's November, so it's still fall. And in our academy, we went ahead and released this particular painting of a Canadian fall scene when John and I were visiting Canada earlier this year. The leaves were just turning, and this painting I particularly love. It's called Rendezvous in Canada, and really I think it's probably one of my best fall lesson paintings, though we do have some great autumn, some wonderful autumn paintings still, both in the Academy and on YouTube that from in the past. So if you like autumn, this is probably a fabulous one to do. Okay, so I'm going to put that away, and then following along is in a theme. What we tried to do in our theme was, let me see, let me put this right like this. This is our holiday poinsettia, but again, it's a 12 by 12 canvas, and what's neat about this is if you go back through YouTube and in our Academy, you'll see I've done a lot of giant flowers that are in this size, and this is part of something you could create as a set. So you might want to go back and look for some of these large flowers. Perhaps I'm thinking that maybe I ought to do a playlist of those, John. Make a special playlist of large, what we call big blossoms of flowers. Judy calls them big blossom flowers because we've got them, and they're really pretty fabulous. Another place to find our flower tutorials is a complete list of what we've done this year on YouTube and last year is on my Pinterest page, Ginger Cook Live, on all one word on Pinterest, and then look at the YouTube 2019 or 2018 boards, and you'll see the whole line of stuff that's been on YouTube, and it's been fabulous. And also, you'll be able to see what we're doing in the Academy on our other boards. So if you haven't joined and become a member of my Pinterest group and following me on Pinterest, even if you just follow me, you guys, do it, because you're really going to kind of, it's a great place to find your references and for your paintings, and I highly recommend it. So then following the poinsettia, what was the release for the Academy were these Mallard Ducks. And I think some of you have already seen some of our students paint these. And these, again, were ducks, Canadian ducks. And you'll notice that the head is blue on there, not green. Now, what's neat about this painting is that you could do it 30 by 40. You can do it 16 by 20. I've seen this come back 16 by 20. Again, it's in our Academy. You might want to join it. This is a good time to think about getting some personal art coaching from me, and maybe joining the Academy as a personal gift to yourself. If Santa Claus isn't, maybe you want to be your own Santa Claus this year. So there's our Mallard Ducks. One of the things we have in our Academy that people don't realize is our Wave and Water Masterclass. And every month is a new release. This is our again, inspired by our trips to Canada that we did this fall. This is Peggys Cove. And again, there were 3 different reference photos I used to complete this painting. I show you how you can combine reference photos. I think there's at least 7 hours of video in this. People don't appreciate how long it takes to do this, but and to actually, you know, not counting probably another 20 hours in editing for John. And this is a 12 by 20, 10 by 20 or 12 by 20, John? 12 by 20, and that's a really nice big painting. You could do it bigger if you wanted, but I think this is really probably one of my favorite new Wave and Water masterclass pieces. And as I mentioned earlier in one of our YouTube broadcasts, if you just want to try our masterclass Wave and Water for just 1 month, you can. Just let us know. Just on the contact us. I signed up for the Wave and Water. I just want 1 month. Please end my date. And we'll set it so it's just your only build for the month. So that's something that you can do. Or if you're already an Academy member, you can then add the Wave and Water for just a month if you want to, or 2. Just let us know. So that's something that's kind of fun to do. Let's see, we're going to put that away, and I'm going to show you. I think the cat was my favorite release as far as holidays for YouTube. I don't know why this is so appealing to me. The idea that if you've ever had a cat, this is the kind of junk they do. They like to get under trees and play with ornaments and then go whoops if they're caught. And when I found the reference photo for this, I just thought, that's the painting I want to do. This is exactly what happens. I want you to notice there's a little bit of light right here to emphasize the cat's face. And then I want to tell you this. This is important because in order to get this shiny gold ball, I used something called, this is Daniel Smith's acrylic gesso, and it's gold. And I've had this jar forever, so it's not like, I was hesitant to even show it to you because I thought, gee, I hate to have people go out and buy a big jar of gold paint for one Christmas ball. But on the other hand, we did 2 other YouTube paintings that use this acrylic gold gesso. So that are also coming up for the holiday seasons. I'll show you those in a minute. Let's see, there was some red on that jar. My hands are already dirty and I haven't been painting. So, okay, so that's this one. I just think that's fabulous. And then for our Academy members, we have this Canadian church. I tell you what, this is all about Canada for us this season. And even though we went to Japan and Hawaii, I think we haven't done anything done any paintings from Japan, and we didn't do anything paintings from China, and we did 1 painting from Hawaii. But boy, did we love Canada! So we've got some great tutorials from that. And this one was this pretty famous church. It actually sits on a river with 2 others. And instead of having it a fall scene, I turned it into sort of a winter wonderland, and I show you how I did that. And the church originally was not a little stone church, but I thought stone kind of made it more interesting, kind of gave it that sort of old-timey look and sort of timeless. And so that's in our Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting. That is the release that's coming up then. Now the next painting is for YouTube. Again, I told you about the gold gesso. So can you see how this painting just shimmers? Do you see that? Just shimmers. And that's because that Daniel Smith gold gesso was put down first, and then some areas were touched up after. Now, what's interesting is that this particular painting was originally done by an American artist in the late 1800s. He's the one I told you about that was really famous. He actually sold a painting, I think it was like $13,000, which back around 1910 was the most anybody had ever gotten, American artist had ever gotten for a painting. But you've got to figure out what is the equivalent, John? I'd be curious what the equivalent would be of $13,000 in today's money from 1910. Is there any way to Google that? John is going to Google that for us, because aren't you kind of curious? Because at 13,000, doesn't, I mean, it's a lot of money, but it doesn't, it's, you know, considering Picasso's stuff was, he could sign his name later on a napkin and pay for dinner and just do a scribble. So, I mean, Picasso was the artist that made the most money in his lifetime of anybody. He died very wealthy too. So, but this particular artist fell out of favor, and you'll learn a little more about him in the tutorial. He fell out of favor and did not do well later in life. But again, he was really famous and interesting. $388,000 is what he got for one painting. That's the equivalent of, you know, how amazing is that? So so following through with this was our Academy lessons that we have. We thought this was a great Thanksgiving release. This is what, 24 by 30? No, what is this? 18 by 24, or 16 by 20. Yeah, and what's neat about this is that besides the wonderful painting itself, it was inspired by an English artist from the middle 1800s. That the guy could do dogs like nobody's business. You probably saw Trickster, the card dog, and you may have seen what was our other one? Oh, we did a really cute kind of poodle on YouTube last summer, and we did another one of these. Trouble was another dog that we did of his, and I love. And probably I'll do more as time next year. I plan to do more of his paintings, but this was really wonderful, and I'm going to show you how to use modeling paste. And again, this is an Academy lesson. Many hours in this video. I show you not only how to paint this, but how to fix a pretty big mistake in it. And that's the kind of thing that you get when we do videos. We edit them, but we don't edit out. If I've made a mistake, I'll show you why it's a mistake and how to correct it. It's one of the things I like to do. I can take some real time with our Academy videos. We try to limit our YouTube ones to an hour and a half, maybe. Sometimes it gets to 2, but we take a little bit more time sometimes with our Academy videos, so I really encourage you to consider the Academy for the holidays as a great thing to do. Now I'm going to put this one away and show you our next neat YouTube release is this little country farm. Again, another old dead artist that was originally inspired this. But what's neat is that the background is done first. The whole canvas. This is like an 8 by what is this? 8 by 20? No, 8 by what? 16 by 8 by 16 is this one. But you could do it bigger. And again, the whole background was done and covered first with the gold gesso. Now it's interesting because both of these had that happen. This one's golder because of how it was painted. But I love the peach tones and the snow scene. You normally don't see peach and snow together, do you? I just don't think you do. And so if you're wanting to think about paintings, you know, having a different look to a painting that's kind of unusual, I think this one's it. And it's not particularly difficult, but it's clever. I love how clever it was, the way the pond reflected the sky, the sort of sunset, and it's a very serene painting. And but again, I've still got. I want you to see this. Well, if I can open it, I would show you how much. I've got at least 3/4 of the jar of gesso left. So if you can find something smaller than this that these guys do, that would be good because. But on the other hand, there's an artist. I want to mention that too. There's a very famous equine artist, English, who does all the paintings. She's commissioned for the Kentucky Derby, and every one of her canvases is gessoed with that Daniel Smith gold before she paints anything. So that's just like her go-to underpainting color. Interesting, huh? So there's a little tidbit here I'll share with you, a little kind of inside secret, but that's kind of neat. So there's that one. And then for the Academy, we thought that we would like to continue with our snow globes. And again, this is done in the same size so you can have a complete collection of snow globes, because we've been doing these for over several years. This is our 2019 Academy Snow Globe with a little waterfall, the bridge, the little village, and it's got a blue background. I think this is, again, everyone's my new favorite, but this is my new favorite snow globe for the year. And I think this is really good, and it's a wonderful one. And I show you how to build a snow globe in this, from scratch, and how to make a decision on what to put in it. So that perhaps after you do this one, you might come up with your own original snow globe and say, I've got now what she's saying. I'm going to make my own. This is an Academy lesson. Wonderful, wonderful lesson for doing in the Academy. Hi, you guys. I wanted to tell you before I forgot, which is why I just wanted to interject about this, that a couple years ago we started something called our Winter Village series. And I wanted to show it to you real quick, because what's neat about this is these are all downloadable lessons, and they're done on 6x8 canvases, but they're painted around the sides, and they're designed either to stand up, so even the top is painted, or like on a mantle or to hang on the wall. And they're sold in sets of 2, and they're in our downloadable Ginger Cook On Demand as part of one of our main featured lessons. And again, you can collect all of them. This is a really fun thing to do for the holidays. Maybe you just want to do the gazebo and the bakery. And if you'll notice that, see, everything's just sort of painted on the sides, which I love. The design goes all the way around the back. And they're all designed to fit together. So like, for instance, the fountain can go in here. When you sit back, they're all designed to match. Here's the little church. Or you could change it to a hotel if you didn't want a church. But again, you see how they all go together. And these are found at Ginger Cook On Demand, and they're a wonderful, wonderful series to collect and paint on these gallery wrap canvases. I love the toy shop with the sled and the fun little toys inside. I've seen a lot of these come back. You can use your imagination on these, kind of customize them. I think this one we put 2017 Bakery in December, but you can write whatever and make this your own personal winter village, and collect the whole set. And next year we'll be releasing some new ones to go with it. But I think this is perfect for this year. And if you haven't done this, go to gingercookondemand.com and check out these fabulous winter village sets. And then our last YouTube lesson before we get back to the lives is just a nice winter scene. And this is a beautiful, beautiful snow scene with the long shadows in the snow. And the interesting, when a shadow is long like this, do you guys remember what time of day it is when this is late afternoon when the shadows are long like this? There's a little bit of the purple in the sky. There's a little bit of the purple in the path. Or the gully, or just, I think this is, again, it was inspired by another old dead guy that we found, old dead artist, and I really, really loved it. That's the kind of thing that I think is really exciting. What happens sometimes, and we in our academy, I'm going to show you a couple more Academy lessons we've got going. This is our country lane with the palette knife. And again, this is one of the ones that is kind of a series of country paintings of country landscapes. And what I said I liked so much about this one was that it could be today, because things don't change that much, and you can go to and see that. And this was again done probably in the mid 1800s originally, but it feels very relevant today. And I show you how to use a palette knife with that, a few touches with the brush. This is kind of neat. And we have a couple of bonus Academy lessons. One thing that's really I see as a personal art instructor when people come to me and send me their paintings, the thing that seems to be the challenge is how to put flowers in a flower scene. And I show you, we do 2 pots, and I show you how to, do a highlight on the pots and how to group flowers. Because I mean, this is a very basic lesson, but it applies to so many of our videos. Even if it's flowers hanging down from balconies or wherever, this is kind of just a very simple, what's about 10-15 minute lesson on what you need to know to be able to do that, kind of a practice. We're doing more of these ones. They're just kind of bonus lessons we're putting in the Academy for our members. They're having trouble with a certain thing. We're making little 10-minute videos on how to maybe see something a little differently than they've been looking at it before. The Academy has had some terrific videos from that I've been so proud of. But one of the ones that I'm one of the most proud of this video is this was called The Guardian, and Landseer, who did the dogs, this was his famous 12-point buck. And what's interesting is this originally was like a 48 by 60 painting. It was huge, still around, and it was sold for, what was that, $12 million? I think so. Like $12 million just recently in 2017 by the Scottish government. I think Prudential Insurance used that as a symbol for them, and that it would originally been painted for a church there in England as a part of, he did a series of these deer paintings, and I love this painting. Again, many hours in the video on how to paint this, but I just think he's gorgeous, and this was again in our Academy. The final Academy lesson we've got going is our small little cottage, and it's got some flowers and so forth. I didn't want to have everything snow and winter, okay? I just thought that we had to have something that wasn't always snow and winter. And it happened, that this is kind of interesting. The story behind this one is that one of our members who was, wanting to do an original painting and wanted some help with it from personal art coaching, she sent me in this little tiny photograph. And it didn't work as a painting. And I take that photograph with her permission, and I did a tutorial on how you can take a photograph that doesn't work and make it work and turn it into a good design, and why it would work. And I think this is really kind of a neat painting, and I was very happy with how it turned out. And I think the lesson goes beyond just how to paint something, but the hows and the whys. This is what we try to do in the Academy all the time, is how and why we do something, and that's key. So if you're thinking about where you want to spend Monday nights, 7:30 Central for YouTube, then think about us, because we're going to be doing premieres all month long for YouTube. And let me just move some stuff out of the way here. And again, we're really looking forward to seeing you. And when we do a premiere, I'm there, right there in the chat, live chat, chatting with you, and I'm answering your questions. Sometimes we do giveaways and so forth. Probably over the holidays we'll have a lot of those. Downloadable lessons that we'll be giving away during our live chats. We'll be set up to do that. Think about hanging out with us on YouTube on Monday nights, 7:30 Central, for some fabulous new acrylic paintings. And again, the holidays are coming. Think about maybe joining us over there in the Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting. And then, by the way, I want to see what you're painting. So if you haven't joined my free Facebook club, now's the time to do it. Because we want to see what you're painting, and that's the funnest way to share them with us. So anyway, happy holidays from John and I, and the very best, happiest Thanksgiving I hope you have, and I hope that your holidays are wonderful. And we appreciate the fact that you're a subscriber to this channel and that you've been supportive of us all year long. And we love you, and God bless.